Good morning, good morning. Yes, so today is November 6th, 2015, and it's after 5 a.m. in the morning. I was just doing some reading. I was reading a book by Shirley MacLaine, and I forget the name of the book, but there was a section about, the topic of AIDS. And this medium they're talking to gave a response I thought was very, very profound. He said that all diseases is a matter of human consciousness. And I thought that was something. So he was talking about maybe, the karmic effect that resulted in AIDS. Now, one thing I don't want to be projected in this is that people asked for the disease. No, not at all. Not at all. But the thing about human consciousness is what really touched me about the medium's response. And what if certain diseases have a karmic reaction? And that thought triggered a memory regarding a video that I watched recently. It was about a woman who was being hypnotized. And the person being hypnotized, like initially, the light was off. So you couldn't see what she really looked like. You could tell it was a female, and her voice was female. And she was talking about her living during the 1850s. That's 1850. And in the United States, that was the time of slavery. So I immediately knew, okay, this was during an era where you had slavery. And so she continued, and I just sensed this person was, the life that they were describing was a life of a black person during that time. And it turned out it was. And that this person was a slave. This person was a female, a young female, and some of the tortures some of the things that happened to her under her, what they call mistress, and it turns out that this so-called slave was actually a byproduct of a black slave woman and a white oppressor. And I call them oppressors because that's what they were. They were masters at nothing. They're oppressors. Well, either way, this byproduct was a jealousy of the so-called mistress, the wife of the oppressor. She was jealous of the byproduct of that union of the slave woman and himself, the husband. So she took it out on the young girl. And when I saw what was amazing about it, she was asked, why she didn't want to have children. And she explained about an episode between herself and the wife of the oppressor, and that she did something to traumatize her genitalia, and it was horrific. And she added that she received a lot of love from her own mother. Her mother, her biological mother, was alive. And even in the time of slavery, that she was grounded because the love that she received from her mother. And the person that was doing the hypnosis had her go forward in time at the point of the last 4 minutes of her life. And in that 4 minutes, that it was actually a happy, joyful experience, the transition, and that she was able to bring the love with her, the love that her mother taught her about life, in spite of all these things that happened to her. And I think her loved ones, her family was around when she died. If I remember the name of the video, I'll post it up on this one when I put it up. But I thought it was a beautiful thing of how something traumatic, and I felt that it was such a thing as karma, that she learned a big lesson in that lifetime. So going fast forward now with the book by Shirley MacLaine and the story by AIDS, I was thinking to myself that modern day society, you have black people in the United States who are going through so much emotionally, living in gang-infested communities where the children are being recruited for these gangs that are being slaughtered. And I start to ask myself, why? Why all this drama and pain? Then it clicked on me just a moment ago. Just like this woman that was recounting the fact that one of her past lives she was a slave. One thing I did forget to mention about that story is that it was a white woman. Okay? And I mean, yeah, she's a white woman now. What if the things that are happening in today's society with black Americans or African Americans, what if the people now, if the common reasons for their plight, African American plight, is that in their past life they were these white abusers of black people? Isn't that something? What if you took the so-called average black American, male or female, and regressed them? Would their past life be a white oppressor? And that blacks now are reconciling this karmic debt? Isn't that a hot one? It just clicked in my mind. Very controversial. But as I watched that video with the white woman who was being regressed, and turned out that she was a black slave woman, young black slave woman in a prior life, it was very shocking, because you only found out the race of the woman because during hypnosis the lights were turned dim, so you couldn't tell what her background was. And when they turned on the light after the session was up, It was a white woman. It was very informative emotionally to me. And I think everyone should watch that video. And it was it's just, it taught me that, that we all have a life. We all have a past. And if reincarnation is true, again, I don't know whether reincarnation is true. I would like to be regressed and find out for myself. But either way, if it is true, that many of us should really think about the possibilities of what type of life we may have lived, but most of all, use that as an example of why you should have a current life that is full of living a peaceful and, in a loving manner to yourself and your neighbors and your family and with animals. Be kind. Be kind and be compassionate. That's what I learned from that video with the white woman. Because you never know, and you never know what your current life is going to offer you. And so, life has its sharp turns, but in the midst of all these things that happen to us, let us try to stay centered and at peace with one another. So that's what I learned, and I just wanted to share that with you. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions, or if you want to share your experience. Maybe you have done a past life regression. What did you learn about yourself? Okay? You can subscribe. Tell your friends and family members about it, because they might have insight about the subject or an interest on the subject. And lastly, to give me the thumbs up. Peace, guys. Bye-bye.